Thank you for tuning in with Dr. Leisha, the Preacha-OK. Well, I hope you all are doing fine. I'm doing fine. So, this video, I'm going to talk about the pros and cons, the good and bad of having an open marriage during separation when you can't agree, but yet you still have a lot of joint responsibilities. As you may know, I am divorced and I've been divorced for a while now. I mean, it's been a couple years. Um, it's been almost 5 years since my ex walked out and married the other woman. So this stuff isn't that fresh anymore. You know what I mean? But there's still a lot to learn from it that I can share with other people as I create this body of work called the eternal deficit of mankind. Okay, so in 2011 is when my husband, ex husband, and I decided that, or accepted, I'll say we accepted that we could no longer be committed to one another. Actually, he was the one that had a void and could not commit anymore. It wasn't me, but once somebody make that claim, well, you have to follow his lead. I mean, he's the husband, he was the lead. Period. And so once your boss basically quit, I mean, like, what do? You have to step up. When your boss quit, you have to keep doing your job, right? So, but at the end of the day, the decision was made in 2011. He's no longer committed and he had his reasons. No problem. To me, as a woman, I had to accept that this man does not value me anymore, you know? But we still had two adopted children at home. My younger daughter, she was still home for like maybe a year. But but for the most part, both my daughters were grown and gone at this point, basically. And so we still had the two adopted children in the home. And we had 6 more years before they were grown. And I take commitment serious and I take vows serious. That's just me. So I signed those papers to be those boys' mother until they were grown. And I was not independent. I didn't have income of my own. So, I was dependent on the husband to provide for the family as he promised, stood before the Lord and all these people and said he was going to do it. So, I didn't have a reason to think he would change his mind halfway through the marriage, you know. So we opened up the marriage. But because we had 6 more long years to go to get all the kids grown, even though the marriage was open, the commitment was gone for one another. We still had terms, you know. I knew I was not opening the marriage just to be running around having sex with a bunch of people. That was never my goal. Never my goal. That didn't even happen. Now, did I date other people? Yeah, I did date because it had been, at this point, over 20 years. I mean, it had been a long time since I had needed to date anybody. And based on what I was seeing on TV and stuff and hearing, just among family and friends what's going on out in the world as far as dating and stuff, I was like, shoot, I need to brush up my skills before, you know, I get out here. I had been a housewife for a long time. A housewife, loyal, committed, going above and beyond, just so now this man don't want me and whew, I gotta change. I have to grow, I gotta evolve, I gotta become independent. But I got 6 years to do it. So basically, I was giving myself and he was giving me 6 years to get on my feet because it was about to be over. Well, it wasn't that simple. I was such a submissive, dependent person on him, even though he was pushing me away. We still live in the same house. We're still having sex, which is the terms. We're gonna, live together, get these boys grown. We're gonna still have sex. He's gonna still provide. I mean, nothing changed but our conversation. Nothing changed but our conversation. His heart changed, his attitude changed, but everything else stayed the same. So it was really difficult for me to become independent under those circumstances. I'm still, uh, I don't know, it was weird. So the only thing I could do was honor the agreement he and I had. That's all I could do. And wait for the 6 years to be up and then start my new life. Because as long as I was with him, I couldn't be independent. I don't know how to be independent in a marriage. That don't even make sense. How do you be independent in a marriage? You're supposed to, like, he should not have considered himself independent just because he made the money. Money don't, money is not the only way to measure independence. That's what I learned. That's what I learned. Money is not the only determining factor of independence. There are a lot of people that make money and don't know what to do with it. They make money, they go to work every day and don't even know how to pay a bill. I mean, no bills that matter, like mortgages and, utilities. And some people just do not have the wherewithal. It's not even a desire to do it. So I just could not find independence in a marriage I had been in so long. We had been married 15, 16 years. How do I go from, you know, being what you want to now I don't want you at all, so go get a life, you know? Even with my PhD and everything, you know, again, money and degrees and all that stuff is not the only thing that make you independent. So, the advantage, the good part about opening up the marriage is that we could date other people to learn new skills. I had to relearn and he had to learn just according to his testimony, he had to learn, you know. So it allowed us to practice. But what happened was, at first, we were holding hands and doing it open and honest together. The first couple of years of opening the marriage, we did it together. What I thought was being open and honest. But what happened was, after a couple years, it became, I became just open. Like, I didn't hide it from family and friends. I mean, like, this is who we are now. I mean, there's nothing to be hiding or secret about. This is us. I begin to enjoy the freedom of meeting people. And then because I have a degree, I said, well, I want to become an expert in this and write books and, educate other people. And he didn't have a problem with it. But I started to get on Facebook and um, travel and do stuff, you know what I mean? Like related to it. And I was developing an image. I was putting myself out there as a polyamorous married woman. And I want to be known for this and I want to make money. I want to make money from this. I got to be independent one way or another. So he realized after a couple of years of, us dating couples, we started off dating couples and stuff like that. And I enjoyed it. I mean, it felt good to solve a problem. Okay, you don't want me anymore. I need to learn how to feel desired again. I need to feel sexy again. I need to feel like a woman again. I need to feel these things. And he needed to feel those things as a man, I guess. You know what I mean? He needed to feel those things, I guess. I'm not a man, so I can't speak for men like that. I try a little bit, but I pull back when talking about men like that because I'm not one. So I enjoyed watching him be excited. I mean, okay, you don't want to be committed to me anymore in a marriage situation and all that. Okay, fine. But I consider him a friend. I mean, I still love you and consider you a friend, and I want you to be happy. So, you know, it felt good to see him, get dressed up. And I mean, we did all this stuff anyway. It's not like we never enjoyed ourselves. To me, even though we had problems, like him forcing adoption on me, and he had a birthday twin I didn't know about, this woman, some other woman he was in love with before me who was a part of the family. I didn't know this woman was a part of his family that he was in love with. And I was going to have to see her at holidays, birthdays. I shared my marriage with his birthday twin, unaware, you know what I mean? So despite those crazy, obvious stuff, I still viewed our marriage as a good marriage because I had been married before. And, the majority of the marriages in my life and the stuff you see on TV and all that, I just noticed that okay, how many times am I gonna leave someone because they're cheating? How many relationships do I really expect to have before I die? It doesn't seem to matter which man. M- Based on my experience, I know people gonna say, well, that's based on your experience. That's based on the people you know. You know how people be saying all that stupid stuff these days. But at the end of the day, I have a huge world. I mean, my world was filled with hundreds and thousands of people because of I'm an educator, you know, um, I just know a lot of people, period. No other way to put it. My lifestyle is very big. So I know a lot of people. So I'm judging my observation based on hundreds and thousands of people. Most women get cheated on. Most women get cheated on. Now, do a lot of women cheat? Yeah, of course. But we're talking legal marriage here, raising kids, death do us part type energy. But that's what people say. But no one actually live that way. I mean, not like absolutely no one, but there's always exceptions, of course. So I'm like, okay, fine. This is the best it's gonna get. As far as me willing to put in energy. So I made do with the marriage and we had fun. I mean, even though there were tough situations and circumstances, I made it fun. Why not? Why not have a good life and have fun anyway? Why not? You know, even on your worst day, make it great. That's my attitude. All right. So we open up the marriage. He decides, well, this is not the image I want. No, I don't want nobody knowing my business and blah, 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 blah. So it's almost like he threw me all the way out as far as I could go. And then he pulled himself way, way back where it looked like I'm the one just running around on him. And he would not admit to like our parents and different people the agreement we had, the understanding we had, what we were living. And I'm like, how? I mean, like, how was that fair? But I couldn't worry about that. I couldn't worry about him setting me up to ruin my reputation, really. He set me up to ruin my reputation so that I would not look credible to nobody, not even my own mother. So I couldn't go back. I couldn't turn back. I'm not independent. I don't have my own money. I don't have anything of my own. I can't turn back. He could afford to do whatever he want, obviously, but I couldn't. I didn't have the luxury of being independent. I didn't even know how. I just didn't even know where to begin in a marriage to someone that I love. So I kept going and kept my end of the bargain, which was to stay married until those boys were grown and I would still have sex with you and do everything I was doing. Everything. I didn't stop. I didn't treat him less because he believed he did not love me or committed to me anymore. I didn't shortchange the marriage. I didn't shortchange me. I didn't shortchange our boys as far as showing up, being a wife and mother. But it wasn't fair that they were also looking at me as running around on their dad. And he didn't speak up. He didn't speak up. So I just looked like a suicidal hoe. I looked like a suicidal hoe. Because in 2011, after he made it clear that he didn't want me no more, I had a suicide attempt. I wanted to kill myself because I didn't see a way out. So it was either stay alive and be viewed as a suicidal hoe or just die. of hopelessness, die of deep betrayal, just die from being digged down and having sex like a porn star when there's no love. No love. So again, it was good to be able to, just get out again. Be around people who act like they like me. You know what I mean? you know, and I afforded my husband the same liberty. But what I didn't know is that he's always had that liberty. I was the one being, faithful and all that stuff, committed all the time, you know. But I think that, okay, so those are some of the good things. The bad, the bad is when you open a marriage under the circumstances that we did, it completely eliminate the possibility of reviving the marriage. If there's any chance of it being revived, it eliminates it. Once I realized that he was backsliding on our or reneging on our agreement, I had to depend on I had to depend on it. I could not go back. I had to look forward to the marriage ending. I had to look forward to it. I had to. I had to. And I continued to live my life that way. I kept the agreement, even though he was flip flopping and being inconsistent. And ultimately, left me for another woman. Secretly did it though. He didn't even have to be secret about it. But what I noticed though, and this is the negative, the bad part of having an open marriage under the circumstances that we had, he was hating me and resenting me more and more and more. I was more successful at dating than he was. I had plenty of experience of dating as a teenager, and then I had a whole marriage before him. So this was nothing new to me. I just needed to brush up my skills. So he got to see me in action. He got to see how he got me. You know what I mean? he 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 got to see other people, see what other people saw in me. You know what I mean? I began to like really shine and blow up in his face right in our marriage. And I think he hated that. It's like he knew I was not going back. I was not going back to our old ways, the old marriage. I was not going back. So while we were married, I'm living in the home, loving on him still, cooking, cleaning, taking care of the kids. I didn't stop. I didn't shortchange in those departments. But I had to respect the fact that he made it so clear he didn't want me. He made it very clear. I couldn't forget that either. So yeah, I was very suicidal. That is a suicidal way to live. Giving a person your all, they're not giving it back to you, but you're committed because of the kids and just everything else. But yet my hair, everything about me started changing. I started glowing, looking better, and you know, life really started getting good, better for me. And I think he was turned on, but he had already talked all that smack. He had already treated me so bad. I was becoming the woman he always wanted, really, in a way. I mean, I could tell. I could tell. Because again, I mean, like, he's saying one thing, but we're when we're touching each other, I could still I mean, I know when we touch each other, it was something different. No matter what he was saying, when he touched me, it was different. I think he needed to deal with his own insecurities. He needed to deal with his own insecurities, and he needed to accept the fact that I'm just an amazing woman. I am. So when he realized that I could pretty much have whoever I wanted, you know what I mean? With or without him, I could pretty much have who I wanted. But we did have an agreement that I could not date anyone that he didn't approve of. He had what was called veto power. So if someone looked better than him, made more money than him, or whatever, that was not an option. Again, he realized, wait a minute, I do have a good thing. But it was too late. It was too late. I had had a taste of what I had been missing. I realized that, yeah, I've been with this man all these years and I've endured a lot, but I need someone. If I'm going to be with someone, I'm the kind of person I don't have to be with anybody. I don't, you know, I ain't been with nobody in 2 years. It's been 2 years. So I don't have to be with somebody. I don't. But I want to. You know what I'm saying? That's a difference. That's a difference. I don't need to be with anybody, but I want to. And if I'm going to, I want it to feel right. I want it to feel right. I want that person to be committed to me. And I want to be committed to that person. And when we lay down at night, I want it to feel real. I want it to be real. Period. And that real can be whatever we agree for it to be. As long as you honor it and I honor it, then it's real. That's what make it real. To me, real isn't some cookie cutter way the world push life. Real is what we agree to and enjoy together. That's real. So I just noticed that he just became more negative. You know, I'm starting to look like a celebrity. I mean, I was in celebrity mode, y'all. I mean, whew. I remember when I had packed up I had like the very last of my mommy clothes, okay? Mommy clothes. I had packed up the last of my mommy clothes. I had one bag left. And he and I had like a little mini celebration. A mini celebration. He never really celebrated me much. It was I don't know. In 25 years, he never threw me a birthday party, even though I wanted one and asked for him all the time. Never gave me one. So I wasn't the kind of person that he celebrated. I wasn't the wife that he wanted. I wasn't the woman that I just wasn't what he wanted. So he didn't treat me like he wanted me. I wasn't celebrated, you know. But again, I think a lot of that had to do with his own insecurities, his lack of experience. According to him, he had never been in a relationship before and was a virgin when we got married. Okay, so based on that, he probably needed a lot of development and just really didn't know what to do, to be honest. I mean, yeah. So that's why I had to, well, I chose to believe that stupid stuff and overcommit. And I carried the marriage because of his lack of experience that he claimed. But I know now that men, including him, lie about stuff like that so that you can overcommit, so that you can, you know, just pour yourself out. And they know from day one they never gonna match her. They never gonna be that way. They already know they're not gonna be that way. But they say and do whatever it takes for you to be that way. And, there was nothing I could do about it but just endure it. I chose to endure it. Yeah, I could have left and all of that, but I didn't. Ultimately, he left me secretly for somebody else. And that's fine. There's nothing I could do about that. It wasn't like it was the first time that ever happened to me. That happened to me in the first marriage. So whoop de doo. But again, there were positive things about it and there were negative things about it. And I don't mind sharing both sides. And some people will say, well, an open marriage is bad regardless, so nothing good could ever come out of it. Okay, well, that's your opinion. It worked for me. It helped me to not let my husband just completely crush me. I had 5 suicide attempts. And so between suicide attempts, if I could go out on a date, if I could get someone to, just say I'm beautiful, you know, I took it, guys. It was either be a suicidal hoe or just die from lack of love, die from lack of commitment, die because he's a liar and you know, and I refuse to do that. I refuse to do that. Just like he refused to stay in that marriage and found the courage to just go get somebody else. You know what I mean? Just go. You know what I mean? It takes courage to fight for your life. It takes courage. So we both had to, or chose to, well, I hate using words like had to, but we both chose to seek help outside of our marriage so that we could endure it. And that sounds so twisted. I know. We're not used to people admitting that kind of stuff and explaining how it's relevant. To me, seeking outside help of your marriage is smart. Some people do it in a form of therapy. Some people do it in the form of going to their pastor. Some people, an outside person is an outside person, whether it's a lover, a therapist, whatever. You're giving someone outside of the two of you permission to have something to say or do about your marriage. Outside of you, your spouse and most high, really, what opinion is there? The moment he forced adoption early on in the marriage, that was the beginning of it right there. You're you feel like our marriage can't happen unless we adopt a child? Are you kidding me? That was the first red. I mean, like, that was the biggest red flag early in the marriage. You know what I mean? He needed something outside of us in order to feel complete. So I knew that early in the marriage that he had insecurities, deep ones. And even though I adopted the child and tried to satisfy that void he had early in the marriage, halfway through the marriage, he had to admit that it didn't work and he regretted it. It didn't work. He still had voids that me and the child couldn't feel. So, again, people do what they need to survive. I did what I had to do to survive, and he did what he had to do to survive. Whether right or wrong, whether right or wrong, we all must survive. We all must live and do the best we can where we stand. And when we're in relationships with other people, we have to accept the fact that they may change their mind. They may not be able to hold their position, honor the commitment that they originally made. He made a mistake by marrying me. He made a mistake. And because he didn't have relationship experience, according to him, he didn't know how to escape, you know? He didn't know how to get out of it. So the only thing he could do was just be toxic, force adoptions and things like that. And then there's one more thing. When you open your marriage, when you're, separated or no longer committed to each other or whatever the case is. Um, add the clause, if it's important to you, add the clause, do not date family and friends. I'm not going to date your family and friends. Please do not date my family, friends, nor my kids. He dated my daughter's girlfriend. He stole my daughter's girlfriend. And to this day, he is still involved with this girl on some level. He's the sugar daddy. So he became a lifetime sugar daddy to my daughter turned 31 yesterday. She turned 31. Stole her girlfriend and to this day has access to the girlfriend when my daughter don't. So that's one of the bad, bad, bad things that can happen too when you open your marriage. Your partner may go after your family and friends. And I think because he didn't know how to be married, he didn't know how to, you know, he just didn't know how to be married. Another way to put it, he didn't have relationship experience, let alone marriage experience, according to him. I think all that was lies, but we'll just stick with the script. Um, you know, he acted like he was in high school. So any attention that came his way, he jumped on it. And he probably didn't realize the extent that he would be attracted to such young people. You know what I'm saying? You know? So I mean, like, I look at his current situation, which is none of my business. You know, it's none of my business, and I don't know much about his current situation. I don't want to know. The less I know, the better. But yeah, I mean, if you got a lifetime sugar baby, you know, she's still in her 20s, this girl. Still, she might be 30. I don't know. Um, when you have a lifetime sugar baby, you can marry anybody, you know. So the next person he married, the woman he left me for, you know, she's a typical situation that a guy would leave you for, you know, a typical situation. You know, we're black people, and you know how people say black men do. They'll leave you for, you know, a fat white lady. So yeah, that's what he ended up with, a fat white woman. You know what I'm saying? So typical, typical. Um, so yeah, he can marry a fat white lady that's working, you know, help take care of him to help him with his sugar baby. Yeah. Make sure that sugar baby always have a place in a car and all of that. That's his job. So yeah, he what his new wife don't realize is that she's working to make his life easier. He's gonna always have his other women and that sugar baby for life. Stole her right from my daughter, right from up under her in our home. So the pros and cons of an open marriage when you're separated. Yeah, you'll be able to brush up your dating skills and feel better about yourself. It's definitely a boost in that department. But on the flip side, it can be hell. It can be hell. The other person can decide that, well, I'm just going to be lying and cheating. And they can mess with your family and friends behind your back, in your face, or whatever they want to do. You know what I mean? I just did not conduct myself that way. I think you can be positive in a monogamous marriage. I believe you can be positive, whether you're monogamous, and you can be positive, whether you're not monogamous. You can be in a honest, open marriage, relationship, or whatever. And no matter what you do, you don't have to be a jerk. You don't. So this is the kind of man, whether he's in a monogamous relationship or in a open, honest one, he's just gonna lie and cheat and do what he wants. So with that being said, I look back and I believe I did a good job as a wife, as a mother, until the end. And I have no regrets. I have no regrets because I believe I was doing what was right. I believe that I was following my husband's lead as I was taught to. He led us to divorce. That was his lead, and I followed it. That's what a good wife does. She helps her husband get what he wants. And I helped him get what he wanted, you know? Actually, I want to correct that. My job was to help him obey Most High. That was my job, to help him obey Most High. And I believe I did that through his leadership. I helped him obey Most High as best I could through his own leadership. And when his leadership said, I don't want you anymore, I had to take that lead and make sure that I survive and that my kids survive. period. And I did that. And I thought that I was a bad person for a long time and was feeling, just stupid and dumb. And I probably was. But I have to be careful with saying those things, being stupid and dumb and all that, which sounds like negative stuff. I got to be careful because at the same time, I believe I was obeying Most High. I believe I was doing what I was supposed to do as a wife, let my husband lead. So, with that being said, just how dumb and stupid is that for real? So, again, something to think about. Yeah, I felt dumb, felt stupid, and not so much anymore. Not so much anymore because I realized I did what I had to do. When you're dealing with a brute beast, I mean, you're blessed to be alive. You're blessed to be alive. I'm blessed to be alive today. I'm blessed to be safe. I'm blessed that he is somebody else's problem. Since she was so determined to have him by sneaking behind my back to get him, she deserved him. So, whew, I feel better each day. He left 5 years ago, but I'm just now feeling the liberty of it. He just married the woman this summer. So he is legally bound, bound, bound. And I'm like, yay, thank God. Ooh, Jesus. Because a lot of men, when they don't marry right away, and most of them, when they marry right away like that, is so they won't look stupid. I mean, how else do you justify cheating on your wife after all that time when she really didn't do nothing to you? I ain't do nothing to that man to be treated as bad as I was treating that marriage. You know, I would say, I might have did something like leave a toilet seat up or something, but I'm not a man, so I don't need to leave toilet seats up. But I'm just saying, what do women do that men complain about like that? Let me see. Hold on. Women complain about men leaving a toilet seat up. What do men complain about women that I actually did? I'm trying to think. What did I actually do? you know. Okay, so even if I didn't cook dinner or something like that, well, hell, we went out. We went out, or I brought something to the house. Okay. People ate. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of some guys. But at the end of the day, it's not an excuse to be a jerk. It's just not an excuse. No reason to be. But I endured. I endured, and I'm happy I did. And it feels, I just, of course, I was hopeful that this day would come, that I would feel healed, feel better, feel happy again, and free, and that liberty, and all that kind of stuff. I was legally married between two different husbands for 32 years. That's a long, long time. And I was overcommitted and whew, gave too much and all that. Just, and finally, this day is here. It's here. I'm free. And I'm trying my best not to go back into some mess. I'm trying my best, y'all. I want to stay solo. I'm not going to hold back love. No. Most High put a whole lot of love in me, a whole lot. And I'm going to share it. I mean, just being on here is sharing love. Being on here talking to you guys, that's a type of sharing love. And I have a lot of it. And so now I can date who I want and, you know, no matter how much money they make or not, I don't care. I can do me. It feel good. Like right now I don't work. And hopefully I don't have to go back to work ever. Hopefully this is my work. Hopefully this is it. But hopefully I don't ever have to work again. Like have to, you know what I mean? So right now I'm not working. I live on alimony. 100% alimony. And free food. Alimony and free food. So hopefully I'll never have to work again. The actual alimony payment part will run out, you know, um, eventually. But uh, but I'm prayerful that it'll be replaced with something else where I still don't have to work. Most High is amazing like that. I know men on this earth, prefer women to have their own money or accept whatever they throw their way. I get that. You know, either have your own or accept whatever I throw your way. But Most High, He don't treat women like that though. That's how men on this earth treat women. Most High not like that. And that's why I want to stay close to Him. Because I know if I get married again, and I'm not even talking legal marriage, okay? If I'm committed to somebody on any level, I know that I'm going to be concerned about that person. That's my job. My job is to be concerned and help them. So I don't want to limit myself to just one person like that no more because it don't be worth it for me. It don't be worth it for me. You know what I mean? I'd rather leave myself open, keep my legs closed. I don't want to have sex with people no more. You know what I mean? But I don't mind, going out. There's a lot of people who just need companionship. There's a lot of men that really can't even have sex no more. Really, there's a lot of erectile dysfunction in the world. A whole lot erectile dysfunction. So it's easy nowadays to, just be friends with a guy. You know, just be friends. Go out sometimes. If he want to pay, great. If not, I'm gonna always have my own money. You ain't gonna leave me at no restaurant with a bill that I can't pay. You know, stuff like that. So, but at this point, since I'm not sexual, I prayed that away. When it come to people, I satisfy myself, and I'm happy with just satisfying myself. So I prayed that feeling to have someone else satisfy me. I prayed that away. When that last relationship, not the marriage, after my husband, I did meet, someone else, and and when that relationship didn't work, I said, Lord, I need to pray. I said, I need to pray that you take away this feeling. I have given 32 years to men, a man, just, that monogamous, focusing on one man thing. That just don't work for me. It just don't. And Most High don't force people to do right. He don't. He do not force. If I get into a relationship, Most High is not gonna force somebody to do right by me. He not. So I have to use my own discernment, you know. And because I served 32 years already, helping these men have better lives or whatever and go get the wives they want or whatever, I, I served. And so I prayed away that feeling. I prayed it away. I no longer have that heaviness on me. I no longer have that deep desire to be married or care for somebody, just one person like that. You know what I mean? I you know, I've heard women cry because they want to be married so bad. You know, they feel like they just gotta have some. I mean, you know what I mean? Well, I prayed it away. I cried to get that feeling off. I don't even want it. You know what I mean? You have to want it at least. Well, I don't want it no more. And I'm surprised. I'm shocked. I am so shocked that I'm just a regular person again. Just a regular person who gets up every day and do her thing. I love it. It's a gift for me. For me. Some people say, "Oh, you're just speaking from a place of hurt." Well, I mean, he left 5 years ago. I mean, 5 years is a long time. And again, I had another relationship since then that came and went for similar reasons. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just tapped out. And it's not even from a place of hurt anymore. As of like recent, I'm like so thankful. Like this month, December, I just thankful, guys. Anyone who's ever healed after a breakup and can remember the moment that you actually start feeling better, you're like, whoa, it's a miracle. It is a miracle because I spent 32 years being cheated on and lied to, and 32 years. Now I don't have to suffer no more. I don't have to suffer anymore unless I choose to. Most high at this point, he's letting it be my choice. Back then, I think that was him. He wanted me to endure that for those reasons, and I did. For whatever reasons, and I did. And now I'm granted some mercy. I'm granted mercy. I can just be a regular person and be around anyone else now. I can be around anyone now and don't feel like I need anything from them. Don't want nothing from nobody. Just we're here enjoying right now over coffee, steak dinner, on a cruise, whatever. I can just be friends with everybody now. When you don't want a husband, you don't want a boyfriend, you don't want a girlfriend, you don't want a wife, you don't want this, you don't have to have commitments on those levels when you don't have to, then you can just be friends with, I mean, like everybody. You can go to lunch with whoever you want, dinner with whoever you want, when you want. You can go on vacation wherever you want. And there's no one to feel bad about it or you're not hurting nobody because you do it. For the first time in my life, I get to enjoy that life. I've never had that life before. I've never had that life before. And now I get to have it for the first time, and I'm so excited. I already know what married life is. 32 years is a lot of married life. I know exactly what I'm missing or not. I can't be tricked anymore. Yay. I'm so happy. Can't be tricked anymore. I can't be cheated on anymore because I'm just going to be me. And I'm okay with that. And it will feel weird, you know, uh, it will feel weird knowing that there's this whole world out there of committed relationships that I used to participate in. You know what I mean? It's gonna feel weird. I gotta get used to um, not focusing on that and focusing on, people like me. Solo and free. Solo and free. Hey, solo and free. Hey, at liberty to do what I want. you know. As long as I obey Most High and He's ordering my steps, I can have the desires of my heart. Most High is my husband. I don't want to give him up again. I don't want to cheat on Most High again. I ain't gonna cheat on Most High for people who just gonna cheat on me and leave me for other people. You know what I'm saying? Ah, So I'm done. Now, and it's not from a place of hurt, it's from a place of joy. Because actually, when I was hurting the most, I ran out there and found somebody else. So to me, the hurt is what pushes us to other people. It's the hurt, the separation, not being willing to fix the problems, not being willing, not being consistent. That's how we end up in other people's beds. So I guess that's it, guys. That's it. I am happy. I'm almost scared to say that because it's been so long. And all I could do was have hope and faith to be able to say I'm happy and like really feel it. Now I've enjoyed my life despite all the cheating and all that. I have enjoyed my life still. I know how to I know how to have a good time and I know how to have fun. And the reason why I'm saying this part here is because people can be unhappy and still have a lot of fun. Just because you're having fun, know how to have a good time, it does not mean you're happy. It doesn't mean your spirit is lifted, you know? So I have been living a pleasurable life, but my happiness, the joy is back, guys. I mean, like as of this month, December 2024, my joy is back. My happiness is back for myself. I mean, just for me. I'm glad to be alive. I'm glad to be breathing. My nose is a little stuffy at the moment, but I am glad to be breathing and alive. And, I'm not suicidal. I don't, I have love around me. I have love around me. I have happiness around me. My daughter is happy again. We get to finally talk about all that crazy stuff that happened. You know, I get joy in being able to hear. Finally, now we're able to talk about what her stepfather did to her, how it make her feel, the betrayal she experienced knowing that he stole her girlfriend. She and I were not allowed to talk about that for a long time. It was so embarrassing and uncomfortable. We couldn't even talk about it. But now we openly talk about it and I don't feel bad about talking about it. She don't feel bad about talking about it. Because I felt guilty because I'm like, I brought somebody in our life. I was having sex with somebody who, stole my daughter's girlfriend. I mean, like, that's a lot to have to forgive yourself for. He gave me a lot of stuff that I have to forgive myself for. And learning to forgive myself through all of that has caused me to love myself in ways that I didn't even know I could love myself. Well, I have loved myself like this before. I let him steal it. Before he left, he just he didn't want to see me shine. He didn't want to see me win. I guess it's weird to, like I said earlier in this video, it must be weird to tell somebody how much you hate them and don't want them and all this kind of, they evil and ugly and black and all this kind of stuff. You talking down on me while I glow up right in your face on your dime still. I glowed up right on him. But it was too late for him. It was nothing he could do but obey God. And he didn't want to do that. He didn't want to obey God. So he had to lose me. He had to lose me. And the only thing he could do was just go get somebody else. I was gone. I was gone. Even though I treated him as well as I treated myself. And that's probably the confusing part. That is confusing. It was confusing to me too. It broke me down in a lot of ways. Having to spread my legs to a man who hated me and couldn't wait to run off with somebody else. That was tough. And I know there's a lot of men who don't care. They don't care how tough it is. You better not do anything to do better. You better not do better than me. They don't care what they put you through. You better not do better than them. you know? So I didn't. I just let him do his thing. Again, men are leaders in their life. So I was in his world like a squirrel. And I had to wait for him to nut all the way out to be free. And here I am, guys. And then the cherry, the cherry on top of the cake. Okay, so he left me for another woman to get married. Okay. Now my first marriage, the woman that he left me for, of course their marriage didn't end and, you know, she recently got married. So my recent ex got remarried. And then the karmic from my first marriage, she recently got, and so between those two marriages happening in the same year, and it was so funny. They both married white people. They both married white people. So it's like my ex first husband, and then my ex, my second husband. Both of our exes, my first husband, and then me, my second husband. Our exes married or white people. So it's like we married the same people. So my first husband, he left me for another woman. And then my second husband, he left me for another woman. And so those two people are like the same people, but one's a man, one's a woman. How weird. How weird. And so that was just confirmation to me that this was meant to be. So both my karmics, the karmic from the first marriage, and then my second husband obviously was a karmic. You know what I'm saying? Both the karmics in my life got married this year to white people. That is just all I can do is write about that, in my book. What else can I do? It's so weird. So Most High got me laughing. All those tears I shed dealing with these people in my life. These two karmics wreaked havoc in my life. They put stress in my life that didn't need to be there. Both of them. So they were the same people the whole time. And so things that have had me crying in the past got me laughing today. I'm like, what? This is so weird. Textbook, textbook stuff. It's like things don't really change that much from situation to situation. They may not be exact same details per se, but they yield the same results. And so now I'm laughing. you know, those people went through all that trouble. I'm not sure what all that trouble was about. All I know, I'm gonna stay free now. That's all I know. It was a show. It was definitely a show. I did not have a boring life, that's for sure. They definitely made my life uh, energetic, kept me on my toes, and I learned a lot. A lot enough to write books and stuff about. I'm just glad to be able to laugh about the stuff I used to cry about. I get to laugh now about the stuff that I had 5 suicide attempts about. I get to laugh about it now. That's real pain in the game. That's what it's called. Pain into gain. What used to be so painful is now joyful because they're just memories now. Stuff to write about, stuff to help other people uh, sharpen up their discernment. Now I get to reap the benefits and the rewards of enduring these people. And eh, but I endured these people all the way until they found their what they perceived their happiness. You know, now that they're safe, well, I don't know how safe they are, but now that they're doing what they want, they're safely off, married, happy with other people, living their best lives. Now I can do the same because when they were not married to whoever they married to now and quote unquote happy and all that stuff, they were making my life miserable. With all the lying and cheating and stuff. But now that they're happy and off with other people and I ain't got to deal with them ever again or see them ever again if I don't want to, you know what I'm saying? Now I can live in peace. I don't have to be stressed out or suicidal or nothing. I can continue to choose to stay to myself and give that attention, energy, love for me and know that it'll always be appreciated. I'm going to appreciate me forever. All right, guys. Well, thank you for listening. I appreciate it. I hope I'm being helpful to somebody. I'm pretty sure I am. It's rare for people to be so open and honest about stuff like this. It is rare. I do listen to other, I mean, there's like tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of, channels out there that deliver messages, of course. But I've noticed that just like how I started my channel initially, I did it as though I'm speaking to the collective, you know, as though I'm not referring to myself. That's how I started, you know. But my channel had changed. It changed once I realized that the ex had secretly snuck off with somebody else. I said, oh, I need to make this more personal. What I've been doing for the past years, speaking to a collective, this is my life I'm talking about, actually. I mean, it really hit home that I'm talking about me too. I was like, whoa, hold up, you know? And I said, well, let me just go ahead and pull the covers all the way off myself and expose myself all the way. So I'm exposing me more than I am anybody else. I'm sharing these stories, you know, describing the other characters. But ultimately, every time I open it up my mouth, I know I'm exposing me. No matter what I'm saying or sharing about anyone else, I know I'm exposing myself. I want to be. I want to be exposed. I want to share what I've learned about open marriage, polyamory, things like that. I want to share my experience, how I got there, what happened. There needs to be more on it, teaching people how to navigate a cheating world, how to navigate cheating, how to navigate in a world where most people have multiple partners. Most people do. How can you navigate without being shortchanged? When you're cheated, you're being shorted somewhere. So that's the goal here. The eternal deficit of mankind. We need to keep our accounts balanced in the spiritual realm and the natural realm, both places. That's the whole point of my channel. Keeping ourselves balanced, keeping ourselves out of debt, spiritual debt, natural debt, debt in relationships. Relationships can have debt. When a relationship ends, you have to cash it out. And some people owe, and they do know. Okay? People know what they owe you. They just don't want to pay up. All right, you all be blessed. I love you. Bye.